Thank you, Sitlali, and thank you all for being here. One thing I must say is that I bear no merit for this paper, because actually I'm just helping the colleagues Laura Palmerio and Elisa Caponera, who are horribly busy with the finalizing all the work that they have to do, because they will be presenting the new PISA report next Tuesday. So they asked a favor, and well, here I am. Therefore, anything that is not understandable is my fault. Anything that is good, it's their merit. Concerning the study, well, the issue of interest is to understand how girls differ from boys in computer and information literacy in 8th grade. The reason behind the study has to do with the fact that ICT has radically changed our lives, both in terms of daily lives, work, and social relationships. And it is clear that the way in which the digital natives approach ICT is substantially different from the way in which we older people you approach ICT. I mean, I look now, for example, at my trainees, and they are fascinated. I mean, they listen to me with fascination when I tell them that, in fact, I use floppy disks when I was in school and I approached a computer, because they had never heard about this type of instruments. But the issue here to understand has to do the issue at stake here is to understand whether digital natives are also digital experts. Therefore, the problem is to understand whether young people are prepared to actually approach and deal with the ICT in a productive way. In order to approach this, to answer this type of question, the IEA, the International Association for the Evaluation of Educational Achievement, started a study, ICIRLS, the International Computer and Information Literacy Study, which is a survey among 8th graders that aims to collect data to provide education systems with better understanding of the phenomenon, and then therefore to develop programs in line with the changes that are taking place. This study, this survey focuses on how students develop digital and information skills, therefore what is their ability to collect, manage, evaluate and share digital information, as well as tries to understand whether there are issues related to the safe and responsible use of electronic information across different countries. These skills combine computer literacy, critical thinking, technical skills and communication skills, and are applied to a range of contexts and purposes. And this study is already at its second edition, as the first edition, the first cycle of the study was in 2013, but Italy did not participate to the first edition of the study, and it only participated to the second edition in 2018. What we see from the study and from the literature is that we have let's say, consistent results that tell us that on average, female students score higher than male students in ICT-related assessments. To some extent, these results are intriguing because they defy the commonly held expectation and they do not reflect the balance that you have in ICT-related work or studies afterwards, and they also defy the balance, or rather the prevalence of male students in terms of participation and further studies in computing and information technology. The interest of this specific piece of work is to investigate gender differences in ICILS 2018 results and explore whether the relationship between CIL test and different background variables varies in function of the gender of the student. In order to approach this research question, the study used the Italian sample of ICILS students, which comprises 2,800 students of mean age of 13.3 years. The sample is representative of students at the beginning of 8th grade. The measures that were used for the study are the CIL test, which is defined as overall as the individual ability to use computers to investigate, create, and communicate in order to participate effectively at home, at school, in the workplace, and in society. In addition, a number of other measures were object of analysis. So, first of all, an ICT self-efficacy scale, which is the ability of the student to do a number of a range of tasks, including creating a database or building and editing a web page. An ICT self-efficacy regarding the use of general application, so the ability to create multimedia presentation, upload text, images, or video to an online profile. Then measures that have to do more with the frequency of use of certain applications, either special applications in class or general applications still in school, like word processing or presentation software. Then again, frequency of use of ICT for accessing content from the internet. So the ability in practice to do online searches about things that the student is interested in. The frequency of use of ICT for exchanging information, therefore the ability of the students to ask questions on fora or websites. The frequency of use of using ICT for social communication, therefore the sharing of current events on social media, and the frequency of use of ICT for study purposes, therefore the ability to prepare presentations or take tests. Additional background information collected refer to a socioeconomic index that was built on the basis of the information collected concerning parental occupation, parental education, and number of books in the home. And then two single items, one of related to the number of years of computer experience of the student, and the other related to the expectations of the students in terms of future use of ICT for work and study. Once you split the Italian sample between boys and girls, well, the two subgroups end up being relatively balanced, with four differences that are more marked. First of all, the ICT self-efficacy regarding the use of specialist applications. It's clear that boys are on average more confident than girls in terms of their ability to use ICT. Then conversely, girls are more confident than boys in terms of use of ICT for social communication or their ability to learn ICT tasks at school. And also, you have on the other side the fact that boys expect more than girls to actually use ICT for work and study in the future. All this ends up in all these differences plus all the rest ends up on the summary result that is the difference in the test scores of boys and girls, in which you have 15-point difference in favor of girls in the outcomes of the test, because girls reach 469 points on average, while boys reach 15 points less, meaning 454. Again, still in terms of descriptive statistics, you have that there is a bit larger expectation of boys in terms of future use of ICT, and there is also a slight, relatively small but still present difference in terms of socioeconomic index in favor of the boys. And there is also then a tiny difference in terms of computer experience in years in favor of the boys, and a tiny difference again in terms of self-efficacy regarding the use of general application. All these descriptive results were then the basis of the PAT model that was then used in order to assess the elements that affect the actual result in terms of CIL test. The PAT model, is built as follows. There is a direct link, there's a supposed direct link between socioeconomic status and results in the test. Then there is 4 dimensions: computer experience, expectation of future ICT use, learning of ICT tasks at school, and use of general applications for activities. These 4 dimensions are both directly affecting the results in the test, and they also affecting the results in the test in a mediated way by affecting the self-efficacy of the students regarding the use of general applications. The model has good indexes according to recommended cutoff values, and what we see here, the numbers that you see is that outside the parentheses you have the coefficients for girls, while in the parentheses you have the coefficients for boys. And when you look at these coefficients, you see that self-efficacy is strongly associated with the CIL results, both for boys and for girls. And the more students perceive themselves as, let's say, able to use general applications, the better they end up performing in the CIL test. The expectations for using in the future the ICT, information technologies, both for work and for study, and the learning of ICT tasks at school and the use of general applications for actions, for various activities, are positively associated with the CIL scores for females. However, these dimensions are not associated with, are not significant in terms of results in the test for the boys. The relationship between self-efficacy and expectation of future ICT use for work and study is stronger for boys than for girls, while self-efficacy is apparently mediating the effect of the 4 variables considered both for boys and for girls. Sorry. So the results, wrapping up, we see that the result show the existence of gender difference in favor of girls in the CIL. The correlational analysis performed shows the existence of differences in the relationship between CIL scores and other variables at student level. Self-efficacy comes out as the single most important factor in terms of correlation with the CIL scores. And what we see in the end as a result of this study is that girls seem to benefit most from classroom learning, while boys seem to be less affected than girls from actual, let's say, learning in school, and they seem to be more, and it seems that their results are more driven by learning in, in everyday life environments, therefore outside the school. What do these results mean in terms of development, and in terms of possible, let's say, possible suggestions for action for the school system? The first issue relates to the relationship between these results and future work and future activity of boys and girls. In Italy, only 37% of the students that are enrolled in the STEM faculties are female. And the comprehension of the different ways in which boys and girls learn could be crucial. If we see on one side that girls are positively and more strongly affected by learning strategies in the school, this could be a potential avenue to explore in order to improve the balance, the unbalance better, that we see, that we currently see in terms of female enrollment in STEM faculties. Further studies, therefore, should be conducted in order to investigate the mechanisms underlying the learning of ICT, and I believe that this is the single most relevant conclusion, which brings us to, which opens path for further research and further, let's say, developments. But for the moment, I thank you, and of course, we'll be open for questions at the end. Thanks.